Three. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sports Talk with Austin, your daily dose of sports and entertainment. And today on the show is officially here, and we're going to go over it. It's the week 8 of the 2023 AP Top 25 poll. And here today, we're going to go over, talk about some teams that went up, some teams that went down, and we're going to review it all. So let's start with number one, and it should be no surprise. Number one is still the Georgia Bulldogs. At Georgia, played Vandy in Nashville, came out with a win 37-20. They did lose a key piece at Brock Bowers. He's not as healthy. Hopefully, he gets healthy. Georgia's got a bye week, and then they got Florida on the way. But Georgia at number one, kind of looked a little slippery slope there. A lot of it may have to do with Brock Bowers not being there, but they got the job done. And Georgia's still number one. And hopefully Brock Bowers gets healthy. Now, at number two, you've got the Michigan Wolverines, who absolutely obliterated Indiana in the second quarter and on. After the first quarter, it was kind of 7-7. Maybe Indiana was going to keep it close, keep it respectful, and then Michigan said, Indiana, you're not on our level, and we're about ready to show you. And they took off and just blasted them. And, many people are making the argument that Michigan should be jumping Georgia, but Georgia, being one of arguably the most talented teams in college football, is still hanging in at number one, but Michigan at number two. Coming in at number three off of another team out of the Big Ten, number three, Ohio State, who blasted Purdue on the road. There's no spoiling of the season this time, Purdue. Kyle McCord, Marvin Harrison Jr., and that run game got going, and Purdue just never could get nothing going. And Ohio State showing their dominance and showing why they are arguably the best team in the Big Ten still. And Ohio State comes in at number three. Coming in at number four, you've got the Florida State Seminoles, a team that took care of business against Syracuse. They looked really good. Jordan Travis, the defense was flying around. Florida State's been, they've been slipping to Virginia Tech and Boston College, but against Syracuse, they got things going. They got it right. And Florida State at four, very justified. I think Florida State is gonna have, they got the big games coming up against Miami and company, but Florida State at four. Now at number five, you got the Washington Huskies coming off a major win at home against the Oregon Ducks. And it brings a lot of questions to people. Why didn't they possibly jump Ohio State or Florida State? And, well, there's a simple, I think, answer to that. They played a couple teams a little too close for comfort, I think, maybe for the committee's liking. They played Arizona really close, 31-24 in the desert, and their defense has given up some points, and now it becomes a question: can Washington's defense step up and make plays? I think honestly, coming off such a big win, I think justifying them in the top five is great, but their defense has got to get fixed. Michael Penix and his receiving group balled out, and they got them the win. And it's definitely a resume builder if they want to get close to the college football playoffs, because we got those rankings coming soon. But Washington at five, I have no issue with. At number six, you got the Oklahoma Sooners coming off a big Red River rivalry win over Texas. They were on their bye week this week. They get UCF this week, Central Florida. I think, in all honesty, Oklahoma, Dylan Gabriel, looks like one of the more complete teams, not only in the Big 12, maybe even in the country, especially with the way Brent Venables has been able to turn this thing around, give Oklahoma a defensive side of the ball, which they haven't had in years, but they got UCF next. Oklahoma at six, very justified. They got the big win over Texas. Oklahoma at six. Now at seven, they dropped the spot. Penn State, even though they blew out UMass this week, but once again, it's UMass, have to take it in credit, have to take that into consideration. But Penn State, Drew Aller and company looked really good. They got a big showdown with number three Ohio State next weekend. Should be a lot of fun. But Penn State's still at number 7, still in the top 10, and they got a chance to do like Washington, make a statement, and maybe potentially move in the top 5. Now, at number 8, you've got the Texas Longhorns, who are coming off of a bye themselves as well. Well, Texas only dropped a few spots after the Red River rivalry loss. Many people believe that Texas is not back. That they're not national championship contenders just yet. Well, they got Houston. They got Houston on the road this weekend. Should be a very interesting game. See how Texas responds to that loss. See if Quentin Ewers and company can get it together, get it right. I think it'll be very interesting as well to see. But Texas at 8, I like where they're at, especially their only loss being to Oklahoma in the Red River rivalry, and plus the big win over Bama. At number 9, you've got the Oregon Ducks, who are coming off that gun-wrenching loss to number 5 Washington. It was such a great game, but Oregon made a lot of mistakes that got them beat. But they didn't go down much, kind of like Texas. The committee took into play that hey, this opponent's really good, and we shouldn't punish them too much. And I think that came into play big time with both Texas and Oregon, especially Oregon, because Washington's more than likely going to be playing in the Pac-12 championship game if they continue this way. But I like Oregon at 9. I think it's a fair assessment after such a hard-fought game and a tough environment on the road for them to get a dub. For Washington to get that W and Oregon to lose by only 3 only makes the case, I think, better. But Oregon at 9. At number 10, you got the North Carolina Tar Heels, a team who a lot of people had questions. How legit is North Carolina? Can they be the team, the second best team in the ACC? Could they be the best? Could they be better than Florida State? Well, we got a lot of those answers on Saturday night as they absolutely handled Miami. Miami, I know the score isn't always an indicator. North Carolina's defense gave up some points, but Carolina's offense from start to finish put a complete game together, and they're looking like obviously a team that might be well on their way to playing Florida State for the ACC. But Miami at 10. Now at number 11, you got the Alabama Crimson Tide, who survived yet another scare. Alabama keeps surviving week after week. And last week, they survived a tough road environment against Texas A&M, and now this week, they survive against Arkansas, a team that is 2-5 and struggling to find their wheels. And now here we are again. Alabama at number 11, they haven't moved up or down. Should Alabama be moved down? I don't necessarily disagree with that because the performances they have put together, they beat Ole Miss. And it's Alabama. Gets the benefit of the doubt, but it is going to be. We're going to find out whether Alabama moves up or down next week because they got Tennessee coming to their side of the town, coming to their town, and I think we're going to learn a lot about Bama. Have they erased that Texas loss out of their mind? We'll see. But Bama at 11. Number 12, you got Oregon State coming off a big win against UCLA, and another Pac-12 team bites the dust. But Oregon State has looked really good, and they're keeping the momentum going ever since that loss that they had to Washington State. Oregon State is now looking like one of the best teams, maybe in the Pac-12. You can maybe make an argument that they're better than Utah right now, the team that they coincidentally beat. You can maybe make an argument that they're better than USC maybe. Or Oregon State is looking really good right now. And Jonathan Smith has got these guys going great. DJ Uyunglele is playing really well. The defense is keeping them in games. Oregon at 12, especially off a big Pac-12 win at home over UCLA. Oregon State at number 12. Now at number 13, you got the Ole Miss Rebels. Coming off a bye this week. They got a big game next week against Auburn. Auburn's never an easy out, but Lane Kiffin has got the Rebels playing really well. Zamir Chuggs, Jackson Dart, Pete Golden, former Alabama defensive coordinator, coming over to Ole Miss in the offseason, and now it seems like Ole Miss is breathing life. Very much still alive in the race for the West. They're number 13, and Ole Miss is looking really good right now. At number 14, you got Utah, a team who beat Cal 24-14 at home. Bryson Barnes and company. Still no Cam Rising, but Utah's defense once again shines the brightest. And Utah very justified for their 14th ranking. Some of their quality wins they've gotten over Florida, Baylor, a lot of those quality wins are now coming into play. And I think Utah 14 is very justified, but if they can't get healthy, it could cause them down the line. But Utah 14. Now, number 15, you got Notre Dame, who, boy, oh boy, a lot of people were saying, boy, has Notre Dame fallen down the hill? That they took on too many primetime games, too many ranked games, but here they are bouncing back, absolutely manhandling the Trojans, making Caleb Williams throw 3 picks. I think Notre Dame going into their bye week, this is the best they've looked to this point, and what a big win they got. This is a very big win, and hopefully Marcus Freeman, this is a great building block and continue this to win out the rest of the way, and maybe get to an NY6 bowl. But Notre Dame at 15, coming off a big win over USC. Now, number 16, without Riley Leonard, you got the Duke Blue Devils, who got a big win at home, 24-3 over NC State. Duke got a big showdown with Florida State next week. We'll get into that at a later time. But Duke at 16, no Riley Leonard, not a problem. Defense keeps balling. Mike Elko's got his guys playing hard for one another, and the offense seems to be doing just fine. And Duke, with all the respect, the committee gave them all the respect, and they keep proving them right. And Duke at 16. Now, at number 17, you got the Tennessee Volunteers, a team who did not play their best against Texas A&M, but got a big time home win, and now they got a date with Alabama coming up. I think Tennessee, Joe Milton, this offense, maybe they're finally beginning to find their leggings, so to speak, getting things rolling, getting it back together. But at the same time, they didn't look as impressive. They still look like they're one dimensional. If the run's not working, it's very, very hard for them to get any offense. Defense did pretty good this past Saturday, but once again, it's A&M, and sometimes their play calling is incompetent at times. But Tennessee at 17, no complaints here. I think they've earned it. Earned it. At number 18, you've got the USC Trojans. Boy, oh boy, they are lucky to fall for only 8 spots down, because many people believe, including a lot of the analytics, say if it wasn't for USC, boy, their name being USC, 8 spot, they might have fell out like some of the other teams did. But wow, what was that, USC? What was that? Like, that was no question the worst game I think they've played all year. Their defense doesn't seem to be getting any better. The special teams, who had been pretty solid for most of the year, was not playing good as well. It was just like the O-line was abysmal. And I know all USC fans don't want to hear that, but USC at 18 is I think, pretty generous considering after the performance that they put on. But I guess the AP committee still values what they've done and how good they've looked up to this point. So USC at 18. Now at number 19, you got the LSU Tigers. Here comes BK and the Tigers again. After those 2 losses to Missouri and Florida State, many people thought they're out of the playoff race, that there's no chance they could creep back into the top 10, but here they come. They keep stacking wins. Jaden Daniels keeps putting Heisman numbers together, making a case for himself. And LSU's putting it all together. They're looking like they could still possibly win the West, especially if Alabama trips up a couple times. And plus, they got a meeting in Tuscaloosa down the road. But LSU at 19 is looking very impressive and getting better with each win. LSU at 19. And at number 20, one of the more surprising teams, maybe arguably of the year, Missouri at 6-1. Eli Drinkwitz, Brady Cook, especially Brady Cook in that offense. They seem to put things together. They've seemed to find their rhythm. The defense is playing really good football. And I think Drinkwitz has probably earned himself a couple more years at Missouri. And Missouri at 20 after a big win over Kentucky 38-21 on Saturday. After dropping out of the AP poll last week after losing by 10 to LSU at home, they bounced back, get a big win over number 24 Kentucky at the time. And I think Missouri at 20. Good job, Missouri. You're number 20 this week. And number 21, you got the Louisville Cardinals, my boys at Louisville. And boy, oh boy, we were riding sky high, just like USC. We were riding sky high. We were at 14. We dropped 7 spots this week. We got a lot of things to fix. Jack Plummer, threw a couple picks. Doesn't help that it was rainy, muddy in Pittsburgh. But Pat Narduzzi and Pitt is nothing to take lightly. But we got to get things fixed, get it right. But just like USC, we're lucky that we didn't fall out too far, that we only slipped 7 spots, as like USC slipped 8. But we're still in it, and I think our win over Notre Dame is keeping us alive as far as the AP committee is concerned. But we're at 21 this week. At number 22, you've got Air Force. Got a couple newcomers, and this is one of them. Air Force has been playing their hearts out, and they just keep winning and winning and winning and winning. And the AP committee has awarded them at number 22, and I'm glad to see the committee give them some respect. And this is good for college football that some of these smaller schools are getting respect, and Air Force is one of them. So Air Force at 22. At number 23, you got Tulane Green Waves. Tulane is back. They're back in after a big 31-21 victory Friday night on the road in Memphis. Tulane, they kind of dropped off the face of the earth there for a while after the loss to Ole Miss, and then it was like, now we see what Ole Miss is, but Tulane keeps stacking wins together, and here they are at number 23, slowly making their way back up. Michael Pratt's getting healthy. The defense is playing really well, and Tulane's at 23. Let's see how far they can take it. And at number 24, you got Iowa. Iowa's back in now. And Iowa was another team that dropped out, but they're back in after a 15-6 win over Wisconsin, a really good win. And it's a marquee win because now they have the lead in the Big Ten West, and maybe they could put some more wins together, win the West, and play whoever comes out of the East between Penn State, Ohio State, and Michigan, which a lot of those teams will be decided in the coming weeks. But Iowa at 24, like to see it, especially the way they've been playing. And at number 25, you got UCLA. After the week UCLA had, I still think it's justified because they still got the big 8-point win at home over Wazoo. And, Chip Kelly, Dante Moore played Utah really tough, who's in the top 15. UCLA has still got a lot of things that's going their way in terms of being in this poll, and I think it's very justified that they're here. I think, UCLA, they've won a lot of big games. They got wins over Coastal and San Diego State, who seem to be some of the better Power 5 teams, helping propel them to 25. But UCLA at 25, don't disagree with it. But, ladies and gentlemen, that was the Week 8 AP poll, the 2023 season. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Make sure you hit that like button. Once again, helps the algorithm. And let me know if you agree with this or if you disagree with any of my takes. Just let me know. But till then, this has been Sports Talk with Austin, and I'm out this thing. Peace.